Hey, good morning, folks. I'm your host, BKP. It is time for Good Morning from the Office. We're North Georgia's only live online morning show. Josh, let's show everybody how they can contact the show. And there you go. There's our email and our phone number. Right here it is. You can text to me at any time during the program. And all the social media ways to follow the show. First and foremost, I'm very hopeful that you will be able to make it through your day. I want this to be an encouraging moment for America out there, and I want to hope that you'll be able to get through your day knowing you have not had an opportunity to see the president's tax returns. I hope you will be able to make it through the day knowing you have not had an opportunity to read the unredacted version of the Mueller report. I really hope you'll be able to get through the day and be okay. I really do. The New York Times, and this is just the beginning of what's about to happen, all right? So Robert Mueller, and whenever you have number 8 ready, go ahead and put it up. And then I want also 11. Okay, so whenever you have 8, just put it on the screen. So yesterday, Jerry Nadler, there you go. That's the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee. Okay, he authorized subpoena by, right down party line of the committee. They authorized a subpoena for the unredacted version, or unredacted, the complete report, grand jury testimony, everything and anything. You realize if they get the unredacted report, top national, maybe security, confidentiality, confidential stuff in there, whatever it may be. Do you realize when they get the full report, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez may get a copy? Is she going to get a copy? I don't know. I'm just, think out a little bit. Go through. We don't have time this morning. Go through the Judiciary Committee and look at the cast of clowns on the Democrat side that will have a copy of this report. It's a sad day. But anyhow, we know, and it's already started, if you have number 11, the New York Times wrote an article about nothing. So I have an alert, which many of us have alerts on our phones now on certain websites when something is breaking or there's a story up. So I get an alert last night. I don't know, what was it, 8:30, and I look at it's New York Times, okay? And I said, oh, okay, all right. So this morning at 4 a.m., I read this article, and as I assumed would happen, MSNBC and CNN started their day with it. I mean, they came right out of the box with this New York Times article like it's a news story. The special counsel's investigators had already written multiple summaries of the report, and some team members believe that Mr. Barr should have included more of their material in the 4-page letter he wrote on March 24th, laying out their main conclusions according to government officials familiar with the investigation. Now, this is how the entire article is written. There's not a name of any source. There's no idea who they're talking to here. But Mueller had an entire team. He had a staff. I mean, God, he probably had a whole floor of one of those office buildings in Washington, D.C. And they had secretaries, and they had secretaries, and they had assistants, and they had assistants, and there was prosecutors and all the above. So they're sitting around saying, Mueller could have, Barr could have put some more stuff in that report. You know, there's some stuff in there that people are going to be interested in. But that made a New York Times article and started the day. This is definitely the beginning. They prepared the subpoena for the unredacted report. It's an absolute disgrace. And I hope you can make it through the day. Now, and I want to do this really, really quick. I want to throw this up here. Representative Jim Jordan of Ohio, number 22. You see the grin on that guy's face? He can't help it. He's in the Judiciary Committee. Okay? He's in the Judiciary Committee. He's a minority member there. And he hears Nadler and these crazy clowns, Democrats. And he said, look, I've been on this committee for 10 years. I have never seen anything like this. He can't help but just grin at these people. They're crazy. Flat crazy. Okay? And the American people know it. I know they do. Yesterday, they come out of the box with the security clearance. Okay? The White House. Remember the whistleblower that can't reach the top of the filing cabinet? I'm just saying, all right? What's her name? Anyhow, you remember she did the interview with NBC and the reporters saying, really? They did what? They took advantage of your physical, you know, that you're not able to reach the top of the... What did they do? They would take the files and put them on top of the filing cabinet, knowing I couldn't reach there. Oh, okay. I wonder if when the whistleblower, they took the files and put them where she could not read, if they sit back in a room and laughed as she was jumping to try to get them. I mean, it's just an absolute joke in this country that our whistleblower couldn't reach the files. Anyhow, the security clearance of the White House, the family, okay? Now, it's the family. They want to bring down the whole entire Trump family. The whole, everybody in there. So let me go to number 23. All right. Now, I want to pay attention to this one for a simple reason. And we're going to get to Stacey Abrams in just a minute. And we're going to get to kissing the domestic terrorist ring, Al Sharpton. Federal authorities investigating possible Chinese spying operation. Now, first of all, the spy that was caught, who was it? Mr. Bean? Who was it? Who is the spy here? I sure hope that this spy is not China's best. I sure hope they did not send their best to try to infiltrate Mar-a-Lago. But read the rest of it. Chinese spying operations targeting Trump and his family at Mar-a-Lago. Now, do you not find this is another one of those examples where the deep state media, you could read them, they are transparent because they're so easy to read. Don't you find it interesting that the Miami Herald and the deep state media, this is an awesome coincidence, that the same Monday morning they come out of the box and they're all concerned with security clearances of 25 in the White House, especially Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump in the White House. There's a whistleblower. The intelligence, the House Intelligence Committee, right? They have subpoenaed these documents, all right, on the security clearances, all the information. The same exact week, China sends their top spy. I'm just saying, okay? Now, we don't have time to get into this very deep, but look this up, this lady that goes in here to Mar-a-Lago and what she was doing. And you're going to tell me this is China's top spy? And look, what are they doing? Targeting Trump and his family. Same security breach on the same week, they're discussing the security clearances of Trump and his family. His family. Number 24, the Miami Herald. Federal authorities investigating possible Chinese spying operation targeting Trump and his family at Mar-a-Lago. And let me give you one more. This is the, I had, maybe I didn't pull this up. Maybe those are the only two I pulled up. But I just want to say, if this is China's best spy ring, this is it. This is what you have. And now they're doing, I mean, it's 6 a.m. CNN's doing full reports. Forget the border right now, okay, for a minute. That's what they want you to do. Forget the border. CNN, MSN, they're doing, ABC, they're doing full reports on Mar-a-Lago and how people enter there and the club members and who they are. I'm just saying. Just pay attention. Don't you think it's a coincidence that this lady walks in Mar-a-Lago, gets in, and she is the worst spy? Okay, but targeting Trump and his family on the same exact week that the intelligence community or the intelligence committee is asking for all the documents on security clearances for Trump and his family. And interesting how those coincidences make their way into the deep state media. Another thing we're going to cover this morning, we got Carla's Corner at 8:30, and another thing we're going to cover between the 9 and 10 o'clock hour. How about this? All right. This is Congressman Neal. He's the number 17. Let me get a... Actually, I don't want that one right now, Josh. I'm sorry. I want the... I guess I'm going to go with that one. And just no, go with 14. All right. House Democrats seek 6 years of Trump's personal and business taxes. All right. They're trying to go through his business and his personal taxes. And again, I hope you can make it through the day. And there, now give me 17. This is Congressman Neal's statement on requesting President Trump's tax returns. Now, they have already sent a letter over. This is the Ways and Means. All these committees are really going after your President of the United States. You have the House Judiciary Committee subpoena on the unredacted copy of the Mueller report. You have the House Intelligence Committee wanting the security clearance files from the Trump White House. This is the Ways and Means Committee. Now, this falls under Treasury Secretary Mnuchin, Stephen Mnuchin, right? Is that his name? Secretary of the Treasury, the IRS. So they sent a letter. We have completed the necessary groundwork to request of this magnitude, and I am certain we are within our legitimate legislative, legal, and oversight rights. Okay, so they've sent that to the IRS. They're wanting to tear into Trump businesses and tax returns. Now, Steve Mnuchin will put a stop to it, all right? Put a stop to it, and it'll go through court. So everything's about to go through court, realistically, all right? And so there's a couple things here. Tax returns, security breach at Mar-a-Lago by China's top spy. Say that jokingly. Security clearances at the White House. Unredacted Mueller report so they could leak it on a daily basis. If you thought for 1 minute they are done with trying to remove the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, from office, if you think for 1 minute that they're not working as hard as they can trying to find and build that case for impeachment and that's over. Now, will they overplay their hand? I don't know. That'll be determined at the ballot box with the voters. I, for one, think the American people have had it with the witch hunt in total. All right? I think when the average American person, and that would be me, I guess, I hope, hears about a tax return, people are out there saying, man, I hope it doesn't get to the point that they force our tax returns to be made public to just anybody that asks. And I know what you're going to say, but wait a minute, this is not just anybody. This is a Ways and Means Committee, and they have oversight authority in Congress. I get it. But it's just a thought out there of forcing people to show their tax returns. You do realize, and I will get past this really quickly, you do realize the American people elected Donald Trump as president of the United States without seeing the tax return, so they don't care. They do not care. And the Mueller report validated his election. They can't stand it. All right, so that's one thing. Let's go to number 27. All right. Now, this is Stacey Abrams. She's at the National Action Network kissing the ring of the domestic terrorist, Al Sharpton. Al Sharpton is a domestic terrorist in this country, and Stacey Abrams made it up there. Now, when you get a chance, listen. You got that video. It's not the best quality, but it's on Twitter. Play that Twitter video really quick of Stacey Abrams yesterday up there kissing the ring of the domestic terrorist Al Sharpton.
Speak while you're standing, so you guys now. There we go. Only some people are paying attention. Okay. Well, first of all, Reverend Sharpton, thank you so much for this invitation. Mayor Morial, because I'm from Gulfport originally, so you're always Mayor Morial. But to the National Action Network, thank you so much for having me here this afternoon. I know you've heard from a lot of folks, and I think some of you know what I'm going to say. We had this little election back in 2018. And despite the final tally and the inauguration and the situation we find ourselves in, I do have one very affirmative statement to make. We won.
All right, she will not give up. She is started fair fight, but there's Stacey Abrams kissing the ring of Al Sharpton, okay, calling him Reverend Al. Now, the Stacey is on 26. I was listening this morning. Stacey Abrams on her political future. She was on MSNBC. She said she never said she would run with Joe Biden. All right, and it was a lot of fun yesterday because I mean, watching her at the National Action Committee yesterday was a lot of fun because just 1 minute, please. I want to make sure that I'm not, okay. It was a lot of fun watching that yesterday because Stacey Abrams went sister. It was hilarious. I mean, she went sister up there. I mean, it depends on where she is at. She has the Hillary Clinton. You know, when Hillary did the Southern accent, she went up there, she was the sister in the room. Just say, you watch it and then come back and tell me. But the point, she said, I'm running for something, okay? Now you want to pay attention because I want to highlight a couple things here. You want to pay attention to what the Democrats are really doing in this primary season, okay? Their need to motivate voters in states that give them a better opportunity is the game plan. All right? It's absolutely the game plan. I think I'm on this, and I think all of the candidates, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I think all of the candidates in the Democrat race are going to motivate. The goal is to motivate every Democrat voter. If you get to the end, okay, and one individual candidate wins the primary or wins the nomination for a Democrat. Now listen to me, see if I'm right or wrong here. I'd love for you to challenge this or tell me what you think. If you have one nominee at the end, obviously, for the Democrat Party to run against Donald J. Trump, and everybody sincerely, I'm going to say sincerely, kisses the ring of that nominee, then you've motivated every possible Democrat voter out there. Because every candidate, you always say, this candidate brings this to the table. This candidate brings this to the table. This candidate has this kind of support. Now, last year in the Democrat primary, and I just want to say this, okay? Last year in the Democrat primary, you have to remember, I mean, last time when Hillary ran against Trump, you have to remember, Democrats were not enthused with Hillary Clinton, right? We know that. It's a given, right? I know you're saying, tell us something we don't know. They were not enthused with her. But to make matters worse, it was a given to her. Bernie was cheated. Bernie supporters walked away, even though Bernie Sanders got, okay? Even though Bernie Sanders got a national speaking spot at the convention, even though Bernie Sanders came out and kissed Hillary's ring, all the above, it didn't change his supporters not being enthusiastic about the ticket, the Democrat ticket, and trying to elect that candidate. But see, I don't know, every candidate, do you realize every single candidate for the Democrats that has come out does one or two things? Represents a base and represents a state. Now, some of the candidates that are coming out are representing a state stronger than a base. But every single candidate the Democrats are bringing out energizes a group. A group. Watch and see. What does Hickenlooper think? Why is Hickenlooper in the race? Do you think the former governor of Colorado, Hickenlooper, can win president of the United States? No. But what? They think they can flip Republicans. They can get Colorado. You think she will get in the race because she thinks she can be president of the United States? No. They want her just to energize the vote that's in Georgia. Even if she runs for Senate, we'll talk about that in a minute. They want her to energize. Do you think Buttigieg is going to win the nominee out there in South Bend, Indiana, the mayor? I don't know. But where's he from? Indiana. Energize the base. Even in red states, they want to energize the Democrat vote. You see, I want to say this, and I know this is not going to be proven till later, okay? But in 2018, this is what Democrats did. They put candidates on the ballot. Good, bad, pot-smoking, hippie, tie-dye wearing, long-haired hippie freaks. Whatever. It didn't matter. They were on the ballot. We saw that right here in Georgia. I mean, Doug Collins, Congressman Doug Collins, is becoming a national figure, a top Republican. He calls this show all the time. 9th Congressional. He had an opponent. They put a Democrat on all the Georgia House seat opponents. Senate seats, Georgia Senate opponents. That's what the Democrats did nationwide, is put candidates, no matter what, to try to pull out some votes in the deepest, darkest corners of your state. It's the same process. Because you realize no matter who the nominee is, the rest are going to go home and campaign for the nominee. They're going to, I got a feeling it's nothing like Hillary Clinton. And all of these candidates are going to sincerely support the nominee. And it's all a setup to inspire and motivate the Democrats to get out. I just don't think it's a fluke that we're going to get 20, 25 Democrat opponents. All right? They're all lining up for the same thing. All right? Every last one. Stacey Abrams said on MSNBC this morning, no to Joe. She never did talk to Joe Biden about being second. Now, here's something for Georgia, okay? She just said on MSNBC, Morning Joe, at about 7:45, I watched it before our show started, that she was able to do something. This woman said she was able to do something in Georgia that had not been done in an enormous amount of years, she said. She was able to bring in white rural voters. That she increased white rural voters because she knew of their need for hospitals and broadband in those areas. Did you see Stacey Abrams up here in North Georgia? I didn't. She said, I'm running for something. Stacey Abrams said, I'm running for something. Okay? I'm telling you, David Perdue, we've said it here for a long time. Stacey says, I'm running for something. I want to show you really quickly right here. Give me number 29. Okay? These are the 2020 Democrat contenders' first quarter raising. Former Representative Francis O'Rourke, 9.4 million in 18 days. Okay? So those front runner is still Bernie with 18.2. And number 7, there is your Democrat contender so far. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Buttigieg is planning 15, and there's going to be many more than that. So I'm going to be right back. It's time for Carla's Corner right after these messages. And at 9 o'clock, we're going to discuss this and many more things. Don't fall for this Democrat trick. I tell you, Republicans, we got to get to work now. President said, we have to work. I'm your host, BKP. Be right back with Carla's Corner right after these messages.